Okay, team. What are you doing? What's the plan? Tell me what you're doing. Hurry up now.
Excellent.
Assemble.
Unite. I'm glad that Will got in on that. That was good. We should go and speak to the Ronin and say, your blacksmith's come through. She's good on the deal. What's the down low? What's the DL?
Do you need to do that? Would that help in any way? Because you talked to her like 8 hours ago.
Well, she said that she would reach out to see like when the cleaning is, just to be sure, because that's what we want to go do. I think.
Yeah, 8 hours ago.
Okay, well
that's probably like 4 hours away walking distance or more.
Okay, we'll do nothing and we'll wait
until you're mentioned.
Yeah, because I think there's what else is there to do.
Not much else you can do. No.
That's what you're interested in. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
You would get one of those spies come up to you after, half a day or so of relaxing and prepping and getting used to these new weapons that are not as smooth to use as something like a short sword, but they still held a bit of that elvish craft. And they would say that there is going to be a cleaning basically tomorrow night. Which would be a good time to kind of, so you can get up there, prepare, go into there next time. They said they were trying to see if they could find some sort of disguise or identity for you people to use, but they couldn't do anything like that. But you'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, people seeing us enter isn't necessarily a terrible thing, seeing as we want her to show up.
You don't want her to show up immediately.
Yeah,
that's true.
That'd be less than ideal.
Maybe just have like 2 people scout forward to make this terrain be the best terrain.
And then the rest of us come in like when we're ready, basically.
Yeah.
So you have 2 people wait outside, 2 people go switch the configuration of the terrain, grind some poor cleaner up in the gears. He's like, what? No, I'm still.
Yeah. I'm figuring that you probably don't want Serena going into the arena because she is the most conspicuous by a mile.
Serena Arena.
Yeah.
No Serena Arena.
Serena Arena.
We probably, in reference to the other areas of the city, where is the arena? Like, is it on the upper
You are
rings?
where it is in the upper high noble ring, yeah. Basically
However,
the top of the city that you've ever been to and seen.
Yeah. Due to what it is, it wouldn't be that unfeasible for a beetle to be dragging a cart up there because they need bits and whatnot. Or bits taken away.
It is usually a bit strange for any of the larger beetles to be moving through the city. It does happen.
Yeah.
Maybe you could get away with it if you had a smaller one, because there's the ones the size of elephants and the ones the size of horses.
Yeah, that's true.
The smaller ones are the ones you see going through city streets more often. You do occasionally see the larger ones, but mostly that's when you've seen it. It's been when you've been sneaking around very early or very late.
How long would we need to be traveling with this beetle?
Not too long, really. It's like approximately 4 hours walk.
I just kind of said that as like a number. It is basically the opposite height of the city right now. You are in the lowest point. It is in the highest point.
Yeah,
you have a whole city in the way.
I don't think we have a good bet at just getting the smaller beetles.
The only reason I raised this entire line of questioning is because then we can just chuck Serena in a cart and throw a tarp over her. Much as I'm sure she'd love it, but like sometimes when you got a
sometimes
fish
it
lady,
works.
Yeah, I think Serena would definitely not like it, but I think she would acquiesce. As long as there's a question or two in the bottom.
Hiding someone in the back of the cart is always a good strategy. Unfortunately, Also, just with the way the beetles transport things, they don't pull carts. They are the cart. It
Yeah.
would be very, very, very impractical to do that. You would have to have a
yeah.
Serena-sized box on one of them, which would probably be checked anyway, you know.
Yeah.
You just like pop the cap off this box, and it's just little Serena just smiling out, looking all cute.
She
Or
would not be
like-
smiling. Yeah, she
She
would.
more like when it opens up, there's a shadow box
Bah.
coming out. Whoever looked.
So that's not necessarily your best plan.
Yeah, fair.
I mean, for 3 of the hours, I'm willing to cast invisibility on Serena 3 times.
It's not so much traveling through the city that's always a problem.
Yes. It's gonna be.
It's more like if she's loitering outside the
Yes.
arena, right?
Because
like,
Serena being a mermaid makes her look enough like a Lamia that people just glancing at her don't think anything. That's with all of your disguises. But none of your disguises actually are good enough to fool someone who is seeing if you're disguised. You know?
Right.
So
mine
when you
is,
actually
not
get
unless
up
they
to the
touch
arena...
me. How often do you stroke someone's face though when you're like, we're here?
Pat down. Any
Yeah,
guard, any efficient guard at any efficient entryway. So it's actually when you get to the garden which is the problem. Traveling through the city, mostly for DMEs, isn't so much of a problem because you all do have disguises.
Okay, yeah. Then I would say that we just...
I mean, I presume if this is an arena in a relatively wealthy district, it's an entertainment
The
district.
wealthiest part of the city, yeah.
Yeah, there will be like a tavern or something nearby, presumably, like like across the street. I would imagine if this is anything like a football stadium or something.
That's it's reasonable that it wouldn't be
You
too
don't
far
know.
away. However,
We can scout it out when we get there.
well, yeah, might I suggest that we speak to what's his face? And I know that's real vague. Give me a second.
It
to
could
just check.
be anyone.
Let's talk to
You know
Evan.
the little kind of cute, kind of crazy tinkerer dude who
Oh, well, the guy who found us,
who led us to the Ronin. We could speak to him to ask for some of his little spring things that let us send messages.
That would save spell slots, yeah.
Because if each of us had one of those on our person, then if we got separated, it would allow us to, on the fly, be like, abort mission or peace
I'm gonna
out.
swoosh and assume this conversation happens while you're in the slave camp, and he will say, "Oh, this doesn't allow you to cast the spell. It's a component in casting the spell. It's a very easy spell. I'd only have to teach you for 20 years or so."
Right, yeah, but didn't you give one that just let us before?
No.
And then...
I think you're getting confused with the thing that Tanuma gave,
Oh, yeah, it was Tanuma gave us one, yeah.
which
So
we
give
still
you a
have.
ring.
Yeah. Which we still have in case we
Which
need-
you are aware, those rings, the singing rings, are usually very large and are basically like the telephone system for this city. You have a very small kind of experimental one that is going to basically explode when used, like you're in a spy movie, that only talks to Tanuma.
Okay. Fuck.
I think we just have to go to it.
We have
And-
to. I mean, we can ask around the slave camp a little bit. Ask like people who have been doing it this way, just make sure like they presumably know the area.
Wait. Are you telling me that we, the Mother's Love crew, are gonna spend half an hour talking about a plan to wing it?
Well-
Well, you haven't even gone to
We
the
have-
place yet.
Yeah,
is
we have to
is
go
the
to the
thing.
place.
All your questions are like, you don't know. You have never been there.
Yeah.
You could have
We're not
scouted it
winging
out,
it.
you know, weeks ago, because you found out about this weeks ago. You just haven't,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, yeah, but yeah, fair enough. But it just seems like a dead end. Like,
Read
with
your
it-
assumption, there will be something nearby for Serena to look inconspicuous in for a while. You
Right.
go into the arena, do your stuff, come back out. Everyone goes in at once.
And if there
Yeah.
isn't that thing, I could just cast invisibility on her.
Yeah.
And hope that you don't take more than an hour.
Yeah.
But
Or
they,
she could stick with
Gil
us and I
and
can
Gil
recast
and
it.
Vale rarely take more than an hour when they're together.
Yeah.
We're very quick.
mean,
very
boys.
quick.
The other thing is that if you cast invisibility on Serena to get her in and all sneak in together, Serena has pass without trace as well, so aids for sneaking in.
True.
Okay.
All right. Let's do
So
it. Let's travel there.
go up to the Garden of Blood. Okay. Our travel is long,
We're
but largely uneventful. Unlike other times you travel through the city, it's not like that fight at the tavern, the blacksmith's tavern, actually has caused any kind of uproar or anything. You don't pass by it again, but it's not like the city is on edge and everything. No, everything is happening exactly as normal. The Drow city is continuing as you get you go through the sort of slummy areas at the very bottom where all the water trickles down. You pass the heat of the factories. You go through the lower class housing where you hear music drifting from every which window, and then to the more noble districts where the music is played by one performer and there's lots of people sharing tea, and you avoid the most busy marketplaces and then head to the richest top parts of the city where you're walking on high walkways that the edges tumble down to just the rest of the city, to other spires, to other rooftops. You become quite aware when you get closer towards the Garden of Blood that Serena's plan doesn't make much sense. Because this building, as was described and drawn in Jiang's journal, is suspended between 3 towers. And because I cut out, I will repeat for effect.
Thanks.
This building is suspended between 3 towers, where the arena kind of sits almost like a disc between the 3. With walkways that sort of come to enter it from mainly one side, but you think other sides would be more of a maintenance-y sort of thing. In a very spider-webby way, but that's how a lot of buildings are up here. The streets up here are fairly quiet and quite well guarded, to the thing where you're kind of like... Not only is it city guard, but a lot of the buildings here have personal bodyguards. There are very fancy churches that have samurai waiting outside nobly. There are, potion shops that make enough money to afford guards constantly, things like that. The Garden of Blood itself, you can see from the walkway going up to it, is probably a couple of stories because, it has the arena sort of stockades on the side, but it is a roofed building. It looks like the roof isn't completely encapsulating. It looks like from outside, the kind of roof is over the center of the arena, but not the stockades, so it kind of suspends, which makes it a bit kind of half open air, half not. The bridge that goes up to the entrance of the arena is very fanciful. The edge has statues that are built into the fencing of people fighting. Often people being, launched over the fences in a very macabre sort of way. And the craft is, exquisite. It's not very busy right now because it seems that... actually, you know what? You came here early. It is busy right now. There is a fight happening. There's a roar kind of just coming from the inside of the arena from afar. You can kind of see light emanating from the center. When you're this high in this sort of city like this, there's always noise of the city. You can just hear the roaring of crowds often that way, and occasionally loud sounds of combat, but you're quite a ways away. It also means that the bridge is quite busy. And the bridge would be, where you were sort of saying, oh, well, there's always a place for you to kind of like drink and hang out. Yeah, there's a couple of people with stalls on the bridge. And these are clearly people who have, this is their entire life's work to be able to work on this bridge during these peak times, selling things like water and wine and food and things. So the bridge itself is quite busy and bustling with people who didn't get inside. It's maybe the bodyguards of noble folk, maybe people who just kind of want to listen to the energy, people who are trying to sell things,
The perfect place for Serena to hang out.
I wonder
For the time being, yeah.
I wonder whether it's worth us actually going into the arena, because we may gain a glimmer of knowledge about her tactics, and also we may well see someone operating the changing terrain. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
If you can get in when presumably they're going to be very tight on security and ticketing everyone. But
Why don't we buy tickets?
They might not be that tight because it's a fight and there'll be so many, like thousands of people going in and out, right?
There are definitely, guards of the arena, but, that's a bit of a ways away.
We could buy a ticket.
Obviously, we buy a ticket. There's no reason to raise suspicion.
Yeah. Is there like a will call booth?
There wouldn't be. It would be people selling tickets outside of the building,
Like scalpers?
kinda on the streets. Not like official scalpers,
Okay,
but there wouldn't be
official
right
scalpers.
now because the battle is taking place currently.
Mm.
You can see people who would use like signs saying "Buy your tickets here" over, before the bridge.
Are there people walking out of the fight?
Because it's such a big arena. There's occasionally people, trickling in and out. Maybe people getting food. Maybe people who there's like a couple right now where they've brought someone who looks kind of Vale's age, teenage for an elf, who looks a little paler and a bit squeamish from all the blood they most likely just saw.
Yeah. We could be like, why don't we offer to buy their tickets? Go back in.
That's a good shout.
Yeah, their kid's not even.
Take the lead.
I go walking over to them with a big smile on my face. Just like, excuse me.
Yes, what do you want? My child is very sick.
Yeah, seems that you probably won't be going back into the fight, yeah?
No, and a waste of perfectly adequate tickets.
Well, I love that you said that.
Waggles
because
eyebrows.
I would love to use those tickets to get in.
You can give me
The
a
second half of the
persuasion-
fight's always the best half.
You can give me a persuasion check.
Yeah.
Yes, they do always bring
Oh.
in the big guns after. Fine. Hand me 200 gold and they're yours.
All 3 tickets for 200 gold.
2
Easily does it.
tickets.
Oh, there's 2? I thought it
There's
was
only
3.
2 of them.
I
Yeah.
thought you said there's a couple and a kid.
There's a couple. One of them is a kid.
Oh, okay.
As in a couple.
No, I thought you were saying there was a
Yeah.
couple.
No,
And their kid.
just 2. So it's 2 tickets.
Okay. Guy, buy
Um,
the 2 tickets.
He kind of like pushes them into your hands and ushers the son away, muttering about how much of a disappointment they are. It's like, I'm sorry, father.
I walk back to Vale and say, I got tickets with a smile. Like, guys shocked that it worked.
Wow, that was relatively easy, I suppose. We can all go in, yes?
2 of us.
Oh, you only got 2?
There was only 2 of them. I mean, I could do this again with someone else and buy more.
Tickets are a nice, almost laminate, glossy red.
Ooh.
Yeah, they're very
She's kind of
fancy.
playing with it. She likes it.
Yeah.
She's like, ooh. I mean, I could get more of these,
Yeah.
potentially.
Were they expensive?
200 gold, 100 gold each.
Oof.
I am more concerned about the oddity of potentially having a human walk in alongside you. I cannot imagine that is common.
You just gotta keep his mask on.
He's a slave, right? But
I mean-
perhaps he doesn't need a ticket if he's a slave.
No, I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
Remember
Okay.
when you went to see the kid performance?
Oh yeah, that's true. Maybe just me and you then, I guess.
We could do that, and you guys could hang out together in case anything happens.
Yeah, you're like really, really inconspicuous, definitely. Maybe you should like go hide in a bin.
Go hide in a bin?
Well,
That's rude.
I mean, look at them. It's a human and a lamia.
Well, at least that lends credence to the slave thing if he is acting as a translator for me, if he is acting as my speaker, because I'm
Yeah.
under a vow of silence.
Yeah. We've done that before, haven't we?
Well, okay. Have fun. Good luck. I wish you all the best.
We turn away and start walking into the
Go
cave.
up to.
It's worth noting that Vale's drow guys is different
Yeah,
to
you've chosen
the
a different
previous day when the War Strider saw him.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Because I mean that'd be a dumb thing, wouldn't it? Yeah, the War Strider's in there, walks in looking exactly the same waves.
Yeah. The guards at the front gate of the arena, and there's kind of two.
On the way to walk to the guards, I would actually out of sight quickly disguise self to look like a twin of Vale's guy. We are now twins.
Best way to take a date is to become your twin.
Yep.
It's how the drow do it.
No comment. The guards, there's a mixture of guards and attendants. The attendants are kind of wearing greyish robes, but they're noticeably, they don't hang loose on a sort of as flowy as drow clothing. The robes are kind of clasped with metal binders and things like that. The guards are wearing fine quality, but just steel armor. It's not meant to look like samurai or city guard or anything. It's kind of its own sort of uniform. They'll check your tickets. They'll say you're awful late, but would allow you in.
You go walking in.
To the tickets you have are to the stockades stands. I don't know what they're called. Which basically goes around 3/4 of the arena. You're kind of walking by. There's walkways, so that you can easily traverse those sections. But there's a lot of drow, mostly standing, occasionally sitting, cheering on the battle that's going on, which you can quite clearly see. As the Ronin described, the battlefield right now is a series of metal platforms over a pit, which has a ring of stone on the outside. It looks like the ring of stone probably doesn't change, but you can kind of see the mechanisms that would lower and raise platforms all about. And the battle right now is between a absolutely massive spider and a very large giant-like creature that is currently plucking up the kind of false ruins of this arena. It's meant to look like sand's been thrown about and big fake chunks of rock have been placed, and kind of throws one at the spider, hits the spider in the side, like, and keeps on fighting, and people are cheering when one gets a hit and when the other doesn't. No sign of the War Strider. Noticeably, that one section of the arena I said doesn't have the stockades. It seems to be where you entered from, as well as having just a sort of dark glass plane that clearly someone important would look in from. It's kind of all decorated in such a way to look quite fanciful and quite proper, with the typical drow architecture of nude elven women kind of holding up the frames and things like that. It's pretty busy.
I would just say to Vale, I guess we should just maybe watch a little bit and then go try to find the people who work on the arena and persuade them to make it all flat. After the fight, of course.
I feel like that would raise too much suspicion. We should watch and see whether we can learn where the mechanisms are located, so that when the area is deserted, we may return during the cleaning cycle and flatten the area.
I feel like us trying to do that is going to fail miserably, and then they just know we're here, and then that's not good. But if we pay someone to do it for us,
then they will take the money and then turn us in for more grain. Yes.
Why?
They are drow.
Yeah, so they'll take the money, and then we'll be gone.
And then they will say, for more fame and prestige, that this person said so and so.
I mean, maybe if we offer half the money now, half the money after it's done.
Figurines here! Buy your official Garden of Blood figurines! Limited edition ruby-eyed woman figurine. Get the woman who was slain effortlessly by the War Strider. There's a guy.
Ruby-eyed woman.
Yeah. You actually look, and it is clearly a figurine of Indira, but not quite. It's like an uncanny Indira.
Oh,
So it's a figurine.
I buy 5 of these figurines,
Yeah.
depending on the price.
And they're like semi-posable as well.
I love it.
think they would be, 20 gold each. They're pretty good quality.
Yeah, 100 gold. I spend it. I buy 5. I got 1 for each of us.
Would you like the screaming in agony face or the attempt at virtue face?
I want
version?
3 attempt at virtue, 2 screaming in agony.
They really get there's a surprising amount of agony in this little model's face. Awesome. Awesome. Oh, my sound just disappeared. I can't hear you. Cursed.
Quick,
But
curse
Scream
him.
can still hear you. Oh dear.
Hear me now.
Yeah, I'm gonna put up the old technical difficulty screen for a few moments.
Da, 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 da. Technical
I hope they're
difficulty
not saying
train.
anything harsh. That would be very inappropriate.
I like Lucky Charms.
Good enough. I fixed it.
Hey.
It's a little dodgy. That's fine. My computer's not very happy in the heat, so weird things are happening. It's probably the same reason why Neil's computer crashed.
Bless its little socks.
It's literally giving me alert saying. "Ugh."
We're giving it all she's got.
It is. It's
Captain.
giving it all. You just gotta handle it for like almost an hour more, nearly, kind of. I'll close all unnecessary things. But you were buying figurines before then.
Yeah, I buy the 5 figurines.
Yeah.
Only 2 agony face though. That's important.
2 agony. Yep.
They're very good little figurines. They're kind of made with like a string mechanism inside, so they're kind of loose, but then they can rigid up, and you can kind of pose them by like pulling and tying the string to places. It's honestly quite, you wish you had these as a kid.
That's impressive.
They have other ones as well. They do have one of the Devil in Gold, and it doesn't even resemble Veil, but it is gold painted. It's like, yeah, with like a sword in one hand. It is.
I feel really sorry for the drow that they dipped in gold paint. Sorry, mate. Tough pull. Tough draw.
Tough draw.
Alright, so what do you guys want to do after buying some souvenirs
I
of your
think
time?
we want to watch some of the gladiators die because we want
Okay.
to see what her tactics are.
Sure.
She's not in there, so we want to see when the terrain moves, if it does. Is there someone who's clearly operating it?
Okay, can you guys give me perception checks for that, please?
Give you one hell of a perception check. Oh my god, you did it! I'm so proud of you.
Hey.
Oh, I
So,
actually got one.
through the battles, the War Strider never shows up. There is even some booing when the final fight is not her, but it seems it's not always her, and kind of the announcer does say, it's something else instead. It's actually a drow woman by the name of Lilith, who blinks around the battlefield with dual blades, with these sort of puffs of red magic. She's announced as the Daimau's personal assassin. and the battle is a few traitors who are cut down with great joy. That they're allowed to run around for a little while. And for this, the battlefield is actually made nearly level. Whoa! Get out of there, Riley. What are you doing?
What are you talking about?
You see Vale, but clearly the mechanisms is kind of like, mechanisms along the side allow the platforms to lift up. You don't see where this is controlled, but it isn't directly below, because directly below appears to be where the gladiator chambers are. Maybe there's a level kind of between the arena and the gladiators area. It's kind of hard to tell. It looks like it's kind of, from your very loose understanding of how machinery works, all controlled somewhere else with, probably some big wheels and cogs that twist things as commanded.
Right. Probably a lever.
Yeah. You do see that there are some maintenance areas of the arena that are doored off, where there's usually a guard standing outside, and you see those attendants occasionally come by. Usually, attendant with a bucket or whatever. And you also figure that, when these, there's 3 doors to the arena where combatants come in, that would probably lead directly to, seems like there's several different chambers within the gladiators' slave quarters, unconnected to the maintenance engineering department.
Okay, cool. So now we know that there's a brig, a maintenance and engineering department. I will make sure not to wear my red shirt tomorrow. Okay. So we now have a working theory on where the mechanisms are to control it.
Yeah.
Riley suggests going and bribing. Vale says, "Oh God, no."
So, I mean, what's your plan? Just to come back later and sneak in and try to control it?
Yeah.
It's still...
I know it's risky, but I just feel like it's like risky then, rather than if we risk it now and it goes terribly.
No, I mean, we could come back later and bribe the person.
Yeah. I mean, if there's someone there, we can go and bribe them and be like, "Yo."
Might be safer to bribe them when there's less people about. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
site
That's
tomorrow.
what I originally meant. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
All right. So
cool.
This is you stay for most of the battles, but probably leave a little earlier to not get caught up completely in the crowd. Once it's clear the War Strider's not showing up. Something else you saw, Vale, because you're just very good at seeing these things. You actually see a little bit through the dark glass that led into clearly some sort of nobles, the Queen's box kind of thing. You did see a large chair in there and some pillars. It appears to lead to quite a large space, but mainly for one person to sit and watch. But no one was there.
When you say large chair, are we talking like this chair looks large enough and is designed to be fitting for a Dryder, or like...
You've never seen a Dryder sitting down. That's not really something they can do.
No.
So
well, that's
just
why
an
I was asking.
imposing...
You need a specially designed...
Just a throne.
Okay, so perhaps a daimyo seat.
A throne. You leave. You meet up with the others. The other 2 who are, Serena has to play that Gilwyn is her, happy little translator slave. You don't really get into any kind of trouble, but you definitely do get talked to a few times that Gilwyn has to kind of, politely converse. Not quite with guards, with people sort of just asking, for blessings and things.
Serena, like would if asked for blessings, would sort of do the sort of running of a hand over and act it out in like trying to hide her smirk all the while.
But you don't get into any trouble, and they can meet back up. Riley with her arms full of Indira dolls.
Yes.
So, it looks like there is probably a control room for the platforms. And we wonder whether we may simply be able to bribe the person tomorrow night. The War Strider didn't fight today, so hey, nothing land.
Okay. So how often does the terrain change? Was that determined?
Well, it didn't change during fights. It seemed to change in between fights.
Okay.
However, that's not to say that couldn't be done. I think it's simply for the purpose of showmanship.
Okay. Do we try again another time? Do we want to? I don't want to say waste time, but do we want to spend another day hoping we can kind of suss out how she performs?
No, I don't think so. I have been sliced, and I can tell you she performs with great vigor and the cutting edge.
That's fair.
I think our best bet is to wait till after the fight, try to get in there, change the terrain, and then send word out so that the Ronin can do what they need to do.
Indeed, I would say that is probably the best shout.
Once we get word back that that's working, we present ourselves so that she has no choice but to come fight us on the terrain that hopefully we fixed.
Yes, well, if it's an engineer or someone who knows how to operate it, we could pay them a large sum of gold to lock it in position. Damage the machinery in some way.
The
Yes.
bigger question I have at the moment is how are we notifying and getting word from the Ronin? Gilwyn, if necessary, can send a message, but receiving confirmation is something that...
Yeah. She told us
That's
to
what she
reach
told
out
you
by
to do.
magic means and she'll get back to us.
You can answer me.
Okay. In that case, I have no objections to this.
So, do you guys wish to find somewhere around here we can lay low, or head back to the camp?
Given the length of time it took us to get here, somewhere we can lay low in the area would probably be beneficial.
Agreed.
Indeed.
You could always go back to somewhere you know.
Yeah,
in the city.
a midway house.
Yeah, somewhere nearby, but... Well,
Right.
closer than...
Yeah. Got any ideas?
It's difficult for me to remember the rings, like where places are in the rings.
Where was the Empress's bathhouse again?
That was the tier below this one, where things are kind of like noble and high society, but not the rulers of society. So
Then
yeah,
that's
isn't far away.
probably
Sounds like a
a
good
good
shout.
place, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. You can go back there and rest up. You are, of course, always welcome. And there's a lovely human sacrifice to garner you some good luck in your missions ahead.
Yay.
Lucky Indira is not here right now to vocally complain.
Can you guys give me perception checks?
All of us.
All of you, yeah.
You were followed.
No comment. It's Vale who recognizes one of the people here, who wasn't there before. You recognize not only the facial features, the hair is very different, the clothing's very different. The clothing is particularly one of the things that makes you, mistake them. But the brand of the number 2 on their hand makes you realize that this is actually Tanuma 2, who is here with longer black dyed hair, not taking part in any of the rituals and anything, but being very polite, very curious, asking a lot of questions, learning, filling a tome on her side with all the information that has been garnered. Totally doesn't look like her, considering you've only ever seen her in jumpsuits and sort of inventor's gear, when now she's wearing this long black dress that makes her admittedly belong more in this place. The little shadow cult hideaway.
I think before Vale lets the others know, he'd like wander up in obviously his different drow guys, so she wouldn't necessarily recognize him, and be like, "Ah, you're a new face here."
I imagine there's always new people coming and going here.
Yes, none quite so enrapturing as yourself.
I am sorry I am not interested in your type, but I hope you do find enjoyment here.
Oh, I see. Maybe one of your sisters then?
Maybe.
Ah,
I can get the mistress for you. I'm sure she can set you up with someone if that's what you're interested in. In all honesty, I'm not interested in the decadence and debauchery of the practices here.
that is very noble of you. They would take a step to be next to her, looking at the proceedings.
Yeah.
Be
You're looking over kind of the well in the middle that has this twisted setup for sacrifices and things, and they're kind of doing just prayers over it.
And then be not quite like the old workshop.
She smiles a bit more and nods. I believe magic is just another form of science. And if it is shadow magic, it's just another school of science to learn.
Interesting. I don't wish to blow your cover. So I will keep this very brief. Haven't heard anything interesting, have you?
I have been deliberately keeping myself from anything interesting.
A wise decision. More and more difficult these days, however.
I'm sure once your deed is done, for better or for ill, things will be a lot simpler.
This is true. Well, thank you for not turning us in back then.
I did not have the grandest ability of choice. I researched this darkness, for it dominated my mind in that battle.
I see. Well, for what it's worth, I'm glad that we didn't,
It might seem obvious, but I am also glad. Not all of us are.
Well, if you wish to keep your appearance up of a cultist here, you would do well to show us and Serena respect. We'd be staying here for the night. Perhaps if you come by later, you could give my feet a massage. He smiles.
She lets out a brief laugh and will turn away and walk off. It gives you a bit of a wave. But walks off.
He'd wander back to the others and be like, "Nice lady."
I think that might be the first time I have seen you willingly go and talk to a random lady on the equivalent of the street veil. That's your
Yeah.
type.
No, well, you see,
He's grown desperate.
nearly killing someone has that effect on me, apparently. You know?
Serena just looks at Vale with a bit of a "have you gone crazy" look.
Maybe spy a glance at her hand sometime. There's a
You say
number.
so. Oh, one of our friends.
And Riley, I'm not that desperate, am I? Haven't asked you for anything.
Oh, that's just because you know you get turned down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just like that sweaty bug herder.
Hey, I did what I had to do. Jealous much?
Yeah, sure. Let me smell your suit. Oh, wow, that gets me going.
Don't listen. That was hard for Gilwyn. Don't remind him, okay?
I'm sure it was hard for Gilwyn.
Oh,
And you.
I mean, it wasn't to my liking.
Well,
It didn't sound like that.
It is good to have a laugh. I cannot wait to leave this dreaded place.
And just when I was beginning to feel comfortable again.
Yes, you'll feel much better out in the bright sunlight, I think, no?
No.
Definitely not.
At least we can get you in a proper bath.
Phil, your mind is in the gutter tonight.
No,
That's
I mean,
shameful.
no,
Look at
she's,
Serena and shake my head like.
she needs to keep her skin moist, right?
Yes, and we are literally in a bathhouse, Vale, or behind one anyway.
Well, yeah, but it's not like a surface bathhouse, you know?
A service bathhouse.
It is a service bathhouse.
I'd say it's quite palatable, actually, although I do miss the sea, I will admit that.
Yeah, don't you need more salt in the water?
There
Who
are...
are you going there, Vil?
What? I don't follow.
Okay. Okay. And I'll
What?
walk away.
What does he mean? What is this? Do they
Sorry,
add salt here? Is that what they do? Salt is expensive, surely.
There are bath salts, Vale.
Right, yeah, but they're not sea salts. Otherwise, they'd be called sea salts.
This
Gale, all
conversation
salt comes
most
from the sea.
likely continues for a painfully long time, which I will spare the audience. You can take your rest here until you're ready to go back to the
Take
arena.
your rest and shut up.
Well, you got to imagine there's a lot of inane conversations that happen for this party. Imagine you wait until quite late in the day because you know they're cleaning it over the cycle. Before you guys want to go back to the Garden of Blood.
Yes.
Oakley dokley. You swoosh your way back up. You're welcome here at the Herbalist anytime. And can make your way back up. They'll actually give you a bit of a gift before you leave, and it actually will be Tanuma 2 who gives it to you. A small crate with 4 potions. He does warn you that they are temporary. That they will fail to be of much use come the next morning.
Wait a second. Can we ask her about maybe jamming this thing shut? She's a tinkerer.
No, don't put her at more risk. She's already doing a lot for us.
Fine.
And we'll hand you 4 temporary greater healing potions.
Ooh.
They will turn to sludge after a day.
Just like me.
Yeah.
What's
44 plus 4.
40? Thank you.
And then you can head back up to the Garden of Blood, which is a lot quieter. It's quite nice traveling through this part of the city around this kind of time, because unlike the furthest depths where there's not so much light and you've kind of got to make your own light or go by crystal light or fires or glowing mushrooms or whatever, and then other parts which are still quite busy around this time of day. This kind of early evening time in the highest part of the city is quite quiet. You can still hear the city life below, but it is contemplative and serene in most parts. Even going up to the arena is mostly quite quiet. There's always eyes on you from guards on high spires and guard houses or some such. But it's calm. What's your plan, team?
This is the difficult part.
Considering that there's nowhere really to hide nearby, I think we probably all need to go in at once.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Lamia Ascended are
Yes.
healers.
They are the Ascended of the Serpent Goddess, which is the more healative, protective side of Idrith. Yes, they're healers, nurses. The magic they have is more healative than anything else.
So if we went up saying we
Of course,
have
in Drow mentality, that means you know, the one cast vampiric touch on you, but still.
Yeah. So
Oh,
if
yeah,
we-
so a nurse for the fighters.
for one of the prized gladiators that's wounded and they don't want him to die not out on the field. If Riley can sweet talk us in. Oh,
It's
Riley and
not a-
Gilwyn, I suppose.
It's not a bad plan.
So he'd have 2 drow servants and a slave, human slave.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, we're gonna try that.
There's less guards than before.
I mean, I suppose that makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's one armored. The others are the sort of attendants who still have weapons on their side. The arena is almost like a castle of its own. The entranceways are actually portcullises, right? So they're down right now. And the guard in front will kind of just shift and move in the way that an armored guard does to kind of just say, speak, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be like, sir, we're here to heal up some of the gladiators, some of the more prized ones.
Deception check. Alright. I suppose they should be glad that the goddess is blessing them. Kind of motions for one of the attendant who's inside to kind of portcullis lifts, and you can be ushered inside. He will kind of push one of the attendants who has like a blade on their side to go with you and say, take him to the gladiator pits, and we'll start leading you kind of first around the outer walkways that are being swept by slaves, shackled in the same way that most of the other ones are, where it's mostly symbolic, but still limits their movement a little bit, sweeping up the sort of mixtures of hay and blood, and back here, you know, pots and things that people have been drinking from. And the attendant will silently start leading you over to the gladiator pits. It's on the way down to there, where you will be passing the entranceway to the maintenance floor. It's kind of in the same area, you know, you turn off the walkways that guests and viewers would be using, and then there's entranceway to the maintenance, entranceways to the gladiator's pit. It's just
I think Riley would give Vale like a look to like break off, and then would like gives him a look, looks the way that the mechanics would be, and then starts talking to the guard, trying to just kind of distract him so he doesn't realize that there's one person missing.
Yep.
And she's like, so do they heal these gladiators up often? I feel like
It's usually just by their own hands. We give them twine and needles and water and a cloth. It does most that's needed. Someone must be paying quite a pretty penny to have an ascended come and heal their prized pet. Is it everyone?
absolutely. It's not everyone. There's a select few.
Who are you healing?
Damned if I know. They said it's the most prized. They didn't give me a name. Do they even have names?
So most of them, but more titles. Give me a
Like
deception
stage
check,
names, right?
Miss
Deception,
Riley.
yeah.
And Vale, the door to the maintenance place is absolutely locked.
Just
You don't
smooth
need to make a
30.
stealth check because they're absolutely distracted, but you do need to give me a thieves' tools check.
I don't make it through.
You don't make it through. Do it again. This time with a stealth.
This time with stealth.
Yeah, do
do
the
it.
roll and then stealth.
Okay.
Yeah. Much better.
Couldn't have got that last time. And then a stealth.
Alright, and we're actually going to take a wicked fast, a little extra break, making this a 5-parter, before we continue. And I kill Neil.
About time.
What do you mean about time?
All right, Vale. Now's the moment of truth. The guard gets to roll stealth perception check. They fail. So
Thank
you're working away on the door here.
You don't
There's
realize the amount of bullshit that my brain was preparing.
There's a noticeable like, and the door goes, and you're like, huh. And the guy's like, yeah, I mean, it could be anyone that you're here to see, really. You're like, oh, and can make your way inside. Let's focus on you, Vale. The others, they're gonna bullshit their way around. They've already got this guard around their fingers. You have to go down a little bit of steps into an unlit maintenance area that's quite narrow. It's not a lot of headroom. Most drow are actually quite a bit shorter than you. So you've kind of got to move a little carefully, but that's fine. Your dark vision allows you to see, but you've got to make sense of the mechanisms in this place. There are giant gears and cogs that all twist, and unfortunately, it seems like most of the labeling is in Undercommon. And the labels themselves are faded, written on scraps of cloth that are sometimes wrapped around the levers and gears and things to be twisted, but not always. Most of the gears and mechanisms are kind of flat, as if they would connect kind of parallel like that, but there's a lot of levers and buttons and pistons and water pipes and things. The water pipes are kind of currently hissing and bubbling because they're actually pulling water up to clean the arena.
Okay, right. Let's think about this logically then. First off, I wish I had that spring so I could call a friend and just be like, Tanuma, what do I do? Like, when's the best time to call a master artificer? When you're confronted with a lot of buttons, levers, and gears. So, we can presume that the default setting is flat.
Right now, it's not flat.
Right.
When you're walking around, it was set to I mean, this is not the sort of thing where there are presets where it'd be lovely if it was. And you're like, oh, that. No, it seems all the different parts of the platforms and the ground and the hazards are separate.
Okay.
But if you got it to the right thing, you could maybe, chain them up or something so it couldn't be changed or something.
So they're held up by water pressure.
No, the water is
It's just
unrelated.
separate, okay.
It's in the it's dealt with in the maintenance section. But it's maintenance for everything,
Okay.
There's also some repair kits and things, and a section of iron barring for the gladiator pits that's in here to be repaired and stuff like that.
Fuck.
You just need to roll an investigation.
Yeah, trying to work out what's what.
It won't work, look, Captain.
It might.
Could work. You got to be a smart boy, Vale.
Fate.
Okay.
Fate can be in your favor.
Didn't
Oh
work.
yeah, that's awful.
You're like, I have no idea what's what. Yeah, it's impossible to tell. Like, it's in Undercommon, and you don't really understand mechanical stuff anyway. It's a bit beyond you, especially because none of it's moving right now either, which doesn't help. And you can't see the battlefield from down here.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you can kind of see into the gladiator pits in some areas because there's grates that go down, and you could smell that they go down into the gladiator pits. Because hooey, that's sweaty down there.
So
But
I've got several buttons.
buttons, levers, gears, twisty doos.
Oh yeah, I don't interact with the gears, but I've got twisty doos,
Yeah,
levers,
yeah.
and buttons.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So first off, you use the twisty do to select which square of the arena you're adjusting. Or no, use the button to select which square of the arena you're adjusting. Next up, you use the twisty do to adjust height. And then use a lever to lock that square in place.
Why don't you give me a series of 3 intelligence checks to see what happens? Because there are 3 parts, right? There's the twisty do.
Yeah, right?
Twisty too.
Right, so...
I don't remember what they're called.
Right, so button to do,
give 3 intelligence checks. Because you
Can't
don't know
them
what's
right.
happening, right? You don't know what's going to
52.
happen, so just give me your 3.
I'd like to say that the grouping on these is very good, and so the results should be consistent.
That's true.
Jesus Christ.
That's
I mean, it's an
not
upside
ideal.
down 9.
There's you work on all the things, and there's twisting and grinding that happens, which makes this section shake. You're like, oh shit, and working on it. Then I imagine you run out to look, because you can't
if it's
see the
not
battlefield
far,
from
if
here.
it's not far.
It,
Yeah.
It's not far. You do have to give me a stealth check, not to be seen by any guards, but there are slaves who are working around. Okay.
I'll just consistently roll under 10.
You look out, and the battlefield is kind of like a hodgepodge of spires in some places and open ground that kind of has a bit of a pitfall in others. It is not flat at all.
Okay, right, that's perfect. I know that didn't work. Therefore, it's going to be lever for height selection, twisty Maju for angle, and button for lockage.
Go ahead and give me 3 intelligence checks again.
Okay, so lever,
Awful.
lever for height. It's lever for height. Twisty Maju for angle. It's twisty Maju for angle, and button for lockage. No!
You manage to work out that when you hold down the levers, each one separately, you kind of feel things moving when you're doing that. It's clearly all connected to mechanisms. Just like, okay, yeah, you feel, and you get each one to kind of the right, same level of tension, right? Because you can see the gears moving and shifting. And you twist to, honestly, you have no idea what the twisting's doing, but things are happening. You get up there, just, give me another stealth check. You get up there just in time, you're like, to see everything slumping back down. Because it didn't get locked in place properly. You do that, and you just see one of the slaves who are working here would be an elf of some kind, just be like, just talk to you in Undercommon. Which, of course, just goes completely over your head.
Bale points at his work, and Bale says, shh, and then taps the weapon on his hip.
Give me the old intimidate.
Gonna roll a natural 1. Here it goes.
That would be great.
I just can't roll over 10!
They are going to, because this wasn't the slave who was kind of working behind you in the sort of walkways. They were cleaning the stands. You know, you do that, and they're like, and kind of like tumble over one set of chairs and actually start running into the arena, vaulting over the wall to see if they can.
Gonna go back down there and just sink that boy into the abyss. I'm just gonna start. I know what to do now.
Okay, give me an intelligence check with advantage to try and crunch him in the
This is going to be
arena.
the second session in a row you've dropped.
Oh my god! Thank God for advantage.
You don't see what's happening, but you
You hear a Wilhelm.
You hear a scream that is cut short with a crunch, and then the gear, like you're holding the lever, it's like
Meat grinder.
yeah.
The second time in 2 sessions you've dropped someone to their death.
Look,
Now,
dude, you gotta do what's gotta be
please
done.
Give me a last intelligence check to lock everything in place, because you know how to get things moving.
Okay. Come on.
Okay.
Oh,
You get everything locked in place.
fuck.
During all this, the guard, like you're going through the gladiator pits. It's a selection of varied races, and nearly all of them are clearly slaves. But they have weapons and equipment and things. It's definitely not the kind of places you want to be locked up. A lot of strange underdark creatures you've not seen before. As well as, monsters in cages and things. You go around pretending to cure people, I imagine? Or do you do, you know, Serena's doing the actual, like, hands-on, but Gilwyn's, like, casting Healing Word or something? That would be what a sensible party would do.
Well,
I gave it
was
to you for
thinking
free.
That it never specified that I had to actually be using magic, and I have potions of healing.
Oh god, what a waste.
If you want
Regular potions of healing. I don't think I'd use them on every case, but I would sort of use a couple of them just to make it look convincing.
Yeah. Okay. Please give me a deception check or performance check, Serena, for this.
Exactly the same thing.
Hey.
Yeah, the guard never really suspects you. He's kind of standing around, like, I didn't think anyone was meant to be changed in the arena today. They must be doing it for cleaning. And then eventually you do this for a little bit. You're led out. Vale can swoosh back into the party as you're leaving, as if you're always there, and leave with the arena nice and flattened. Or unless you guys don't want to leave and you want to stay here to garner the attention, that's actually the question, right? You got the arena nice and set up for the battle.
I think what I would say to the guard is, we're done. We could see ourselves out.
Give me a persuasion check for that. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll make sure that the gladiators don't try and pick a fight with you, and make your way out.
She like gives him a hand and turns around and walks away toward the exit.
Mm-hmm.
And then looks at the rest of them, like whispers under her breath. I think we're good, yeah. Like kind of surprised that everything seemed to work.
You
Like,
didn't
too
see
good to
how
be true.
much Vale was fucking up, right?
Yeah,
From
we
down
didn't see
below,
how
it
much Vale was
sounded very
messing up.
productive.
Yeah, like
All of the controls were in Undercon.
did you leave that room unlocked?
You can see right now the arena is flat and it's clean
Right.
because it's been cleaned today, so it's flat.
Perhaps we can find a way to lock the arena so it can't be moved now.
Apparently, if people get stuck in the mechanism, it makes it a bit gummy. Well, I may or may not have struggled a lot with the mechanism, and a slave.
And so threw a slave into...
No. He ran away screaming and leapt into the arena, and so I
Why?
to stop him from telling.
No, why did he run away screaming? What happened?
Oh well,
While this is a very interesting conversation, perhaps it can be had later when we aren't in enemy territory contemplating fighting.
yeah, it's not
powerful
important to
rider.
Gilwyn.
So is there any way that you could relock that room with maybe changing the lock pin or breaking it so it stays locked?
It was actually
Yeah.
like a padlock, so that would be quite easy.
We could
Also quite
walk
easy to
down
break
there.
into again,
I could chuck a lot of caltrops in the mechanism as well.
Yeah.
To shovel over caltrops at the bottom of the stairs in that chamber because it's such a small space and there's open machinery.
Oh, that's cruel. Just like ball bearings at the bottom of the stairs and caltrops in the mechanism.
Perfect.
If they ever get it moving, they're like, "Oh, it's working," and a caltrop just flies out. Ah! Yeah, we could head
Sure.
back and do that. I have both the requirements. I have 1,000 ball bearings in the caltrops required.
Sure.
Perfect.
We can booby trap that boy. These are my final ones, though. I need to buy more. I love caltrops and ball bearings. I'm just
Okay.
underrated. Hidden OP.
Now what?
I think our plan is to.
Like, walk into the middle of the arena.
Well, we have to communicate first.
Witness me!
Well, we still have to communicate with.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty
Messy.
much as simple as saying, go. With
Yeah.
Gil casting a spell slot. So, that's not a big thing. That's just a thing you have to do to make this all work.
Yeah, I think we say go, and then we find our way to the middle of the arena. Yeah, guys.
And yell for the War Strider to come out and hope the message gets relayed, or we actually cut because Gilwyn has seen it. He could theoretically cast sending to her.
Yes.
Ooh.
Hello, you smelly spider. We're in your arena.
Hello, you
It
stinky
smells as
spider.
bad as you.
Go catch
I
a
think it's
fly,
not
ugly.
even worth him casting that spell, though. I think we're better off calling out to even the guards and say, like, bring forth the one who wants us.
Yeah, I guess. Oh my god.
If they
Yeah.
try and do anything,
I-
they're just getting murdered.
I guess we walk
Yeah,
out.
they're getting
and I
murdered, and there's probably a no-kill order on Vale because she wants to do it herself.
They probably can't anyway. I mean, no. I mean, yeah. I guess I walk out there and I drop my disguise.
Yeah, walk into the middle arena, drop your disguise. Does everyone else go as well and do basically
Yeah.
the same
Yep.
thing?
We all go. I drop whatever disguise I had. We all just
Yeah,
Prepare for battle.
Take off mask, start summoning balls of shadow and such like.
Riley
Serena's
starts doing
just
some
there juggling
calisthenics.
shadow balls.
Starts like stretching it out.
This is, you know, a trailer moment.
Yeah, right. Avengers Assemble. All that.
You do this, the guards who's sort of like and kind of like they do run. They do not want any part of this. They run, calling out for people. A few moments later, and Gilwyn, you know, you sent a message, and the Ronin's like, message received.
Good to launch.
Yeah, exactly, something of that ilk. A few minutes after appearing, you feel a strumming of magic
Oh god, I'm nervous.
in the chamber above, in the goddess's queen's chambers, and then a crack forms in that glass, splintering out, and then another crack, and then that glass shatters with the war strider climbing her way through the glass facade and into the arena, and that's something we're going to have to deal with next week,
Ooh.
which will be great. But right now, we can all calm down by talking a little bit about each other and what we do and what we like, starting with, on my right, Neil.
Hey. Unfortunately, talking about you guys doesn't calm me down. It makes me. I don't want to say it.
Don't do that.
Yeah, we're a
Yeah.
classy show
Yeah,
for
definitely.
classy people. If we were the, we would be the highest caliber, the highest quarter in the city, you know?
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Speaking of the highest caliber, me. You can find me on Twitter at nagheight_, because someone else stole my name. Or you can also find me on twitch.tv/Delric for a Pathfinder Kingmaker game set in a land called Aurorum, where I play a human who doesn't murder people nonchalantly, mostly because he rolled terribly on health and therefore has 16 at level 3. Great. Woo. Yes, and it is very different, but it's a lot of fun. And I'm joined by a couple of Australians in that, and we're DM'd by an American. So we outnumber the
Commonwealth
points,
is doing
points
quite
at
well.
will. Yeah,
Okay.
that's me.
We all know that one American equals at least 5 anything else, so that's fine.
I'm not going to make the joke because it's
It's
too
easy.
rude.
It's too easy
I
to
set
make
you
a
up
joke.
for it.
I'm not
Too
going
easy,
to.
no points.
I respect you, Will.
Oh, I tried to
Um,
set you up for it.
and join the Discord down below because there's lots of fun chats that goes on in there regarding games, TTRPGs, the active shows, and Warhammer was the other bit I was going to say.
Yes, lots to talk about Warhammer recently. And if you are new, especially, if you actually want like a recap on what's going on, visit the Discord and ask would be the best way to get a recap of this entire show, because it is in its 3rd season.
Yeah, I'm watching it all on YouTube.
And
There's many hours.
It's effectively like in about its 5th season in terms of episode count, because this season has just gone on forever. Basically,
This has
it's not been
technically
seasonal.
been 2 seasons, but I didn't change it because I got doxy and all these things.
We got doxed.
We got doxed, but we might be entering a new season soon.
Yeah, once we kill the dime. Yeah.
Once a daimyo kills you. But the
That
only
would
thing
also-
I don't want to kill is the musical stylings of Dean Cuddy.
Hi, he's talking about me, everybody. That's me. If you do a good old Google, the name Dean Cutsmore, your ears will go, bloody hell, that's good.
Blah.
And then your finger will go, I kind of want to buy that. And then it'll go over to the buy button. And it'll click it. And then your other finger will go, $10.99. Tip me. I spent a lot of time on that music.
I love the change from last week. It's I'm a terrible capitalist sellout, and now it's tip me more money.
I was like that yesterday when the Twitch bits weren't working. Like, what's the point? Why? If I can't get small monetary income.
Also, it's on Spotify, so if you just want to listen for free forever, then go ahead.
I pay for my Spotify, thank you very much. Those tiny, 6 cents you probably get from them. Me.
Probably more like 0.06 of a cent.
Yeah.
I
was rounding up.
pay for Spotify, but I do listen to music on there from time to time. I listened to Dean's album again, the second one. I enjoyed it more on my second listening. Not that I didn't enjoy it originally, but I tend
There's
to take a little
depth,
while
there's
to warm.
layers.
Yeah,
Like an
and
ogre.
my I'm not very good at my brain can't understand music lyrics on the first or second time even. I just, it takes me a long time to understand what people are saying, and when I can hear the lyrics in Dean's music, it makes more sense to me.
Yes. What doesn't make sense to me is Ian.
Rolling 3 natty 20 or 4 natty 20s. God,
4
I
natty
don't know.
20s in that first hour, and then the luck didn't completely abandon me. So
No, but Neil didn't have very much good luck today, so
yeah, it's for
Neil had the luck of a regular person.
Yeah. I am Ian, aka Arvine, in the Oliverse Discord. I am the biggest weeb. So if you have anime questions, at me, and you will need to at me because I am half the time not paying attention to Discord, or most of the time not paying attention to Discord. I am also the player of diametrically opposed characters in Jarviskjir, given how far Serena and Yulia are apart from each other.
Yes.
If you want to see me playing Yulia, or hear me playing Yulia rather, then go and subscribe to Ollie's Patreon, where you get access to the Monday game where me and Neil are playing quite different characters. And that's a lot of fun at the moment, and we're in a potentially very bad situation. So yeah.
I blame everyone else for it.
I mean, for once it was not my fault. For once I was the one person who did not get screwed.
Well, talking about getting screwed.
Ayo.
Well,
What are you guys doing? You could find me youtube.com/bytheway. Just look me up and see what I'm all about. If you're into it, subscribe. If you're not, don't subscribe. I don't want you anyway.
whoa.
I'd have gone with, if you're not, subscribe anyway.
So Sundere.
Subscribing means very little in
anything,
YouTube anymore. What really matters is that sweet bell power.
Yeah,
and
that bell power.
I have belled officially
words.
no one because I don't give a shit.
Wow, that's vicious.
I don't want notifications. I don't want notifications on anything ever.
I'm gonna buy you a little bell for your birthday now.
I'd
No,
like a
he'll
real
use it
bell.
too much. He's like
Yeah.
a cat. He'd be
It'd
like,
be like
yes.
It'd be like a quack button. I'd use it.
Wah, 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 wah.
Speaking of, there's no Doxy, but usually there's Zero Doxy. You can find her in most places. Zero Doxy. But me is much more important. All around. I'm giving her a little token shout out.
I'll put a link in, shall I?
Please do. There are 2 shows a week. If you like this one that's currently taking place in basically a war versus the Underdark, the other game is taken from the Underdark's perspective. A group of characters who have grown up in it, and these shows really do complement each other. There's also
They are the evil characters, though.
These shows are supported by Patreon. For $5 or more a week, you can access another show, and sometimes more, and sometimes homebrew monsters. And I often make homebrew monsters during my other streams, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. There's big stuff coming up, so check Twitter, follow Discord, do all the things, and we'll see you next week. Boom.
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 Boom.